managing it for people for so many years.
Yeah.
I knew what I was walking into, but I know I'm a little sick right now. It's been freezing out there. Out there yesterday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, sign waving on the corner of Corbin Avenue and West Main Street. And
well, plus your dad having been mayor, so it's not anything that you didn't really have contact with.
Yeah, it's true. I know exactly what I'm walking into. I know what I need to do. I know what needs to be done. Hopefully, when I am successful in this election, and if anything, I know I have some good guidance to turn to.
Does it bother you at all? And we're talking to Erin Stewart, Republican candidate for mayor of New Britain. Does it bother you at all, Erin, that invariably, if anybody writes a story about you, the second or third line down is always, Erin Stewart, comma, at just, 26, I think you are, or 27, something like that. Oh, my God, trying to become the youngest, and how young she is, and the young. Does that eat at you or not?
It does. It doesn't bother me, because I also know that age does not equate to experience. And you could be, 47 years old, and I've only been 2 years in the public sector, and I can tell you something, I know more than you do.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is knowledge, yeah.
For the last 10 years, I started when I was 16 years old. I started on the Commission for Youth and Family Services in the city of New Britain. I spent 4 years there. I moved to the Commission for Community and Neighborhood Development. I served as vice chairperson. I did their planning and budgeting subcommittee. I chose to run for the Board of Education 2 years ago. And there's countless other experience, but I've also been employed at the state capitol for the last 2 years as a legislative assistant, too.
So you've been steeped in it. Now, the numbers I see here, Erin, the city is 54% Democratic, and if you combine the unaffiliated and the Republicans, you're looking at 48% to 54%. So the bottom line is, for you to win this, you've got to get some Democratic votes. If you're going to end up with, majority plus one, you've got to get some Democrats to sway your way. How are you trying to do that?
Oh, no doubt that I can't win without Democrat and independent support. But I will say that the people of New Britain are good in voting for the person and not the party. And that's what we did when we endorsed, when the Republican Town Committee endorsed me and asked me to help find a slate of candidates to run for city council and town clerk. I told them I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do what we call the fusion slate, where we didn't only endorse Republicans, but we also endorsed Democrats and unaffiliated to run for those seats as well on the Republican line. And I think we've done a great job at getting that message out, that it is truly about the person and not the party. Because at the end of the day, we care about New Britain and New Britain only. And we don't care if you have a D or an R next to your name. Local, all politics is local, and all we want to do is make a difference in New Britain.
So you honestly been able to get people to feel that way? Because to me, party loyalties, Erin, are so entrenched in people, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I find them sometimes so entrenched in people that they just don't want to budge sometimes.
It's true, they are, but when you have an administration that has, I'll say, screwed up so badly over the last 2 years in City Hall in New Britain, let's just say they're willing to sway the other way.
So are you then seeing enough discontent out there with the present administration that would make you think you've got a legitimate shot here?
I truly do believe I have a shot. I'll never take anything for granted. In my mind, I'm always 1,000 votes down. But the last 2 years, we have not seen true leadership coming from the second floor in City Hall. We've seen a man who has pinned people against one another. We've seen attacks on our landlords, who I consider to be our business owners in town. We've seen higher taxes, but yet we're told that the taxes have remained stable. I paid higher taxes. I know, so many other people who paid higher taxes. It's insulting to hear that, oh, but I didn't raise taxes, so I don't know what you're talking about. No, you've got to understand that you're being very disingenuous when you're trying to convince someone of something that's just not true.
And now the mayor has come out and he's been very vocal, and he has said, well, wait a minute, some of these issues are done, or some of the actions he's taken are for the good of the city. In other words, he points to some of the fees that were levied toward some property owners there and landowners as an anti-blight initiative. What's your reaction to that?
You know, we have the Clean and Lean program in the city of New Britain that was working just fine, and had he known how to enforce it, we would have, you know, not as much blight. What that was a cheap trick to garner a few extra dollars to cover the budget gap that he created when he hired all of these new people in City Hall and raised our budget by almost $20 million. So, you know, blight is an issue in any city, but we already had mechanisms put in place that weren't being enforced properly. Had we been doing that, we would be seeing cleaner streets and cleaner properties. It was a money grab.
If you are elected mayor, and let's say you take a few days to settle in there, to get the keys to the drawers in the office, and to figure out where the parking space is, and, you know, how to work the phone system, and what your log-on is for the city computer. Once that's all done, what is Mayor Erin Stewart's first priority? What are the first couple of things on the to-do list for you if you win?
Structural in nature. First off, I'm hiring a finance director. The city has had an interim finance director for the last 2 years, and I'm searching for the best of the best. That's what I want to find. It's what we need to find. I need someone who can really dig through those books and figure out how to get us back in balance again. Two, I'm looking at consolidation. This current mayor has claimed that he's consolidated city government. He claims that he consolidated 22 departments into 6. I say it was just a paperwork job. We didn't really consolidate. We just kind of shuffled around and changed the way things looked on paper, not actually making any changes. In turn, what happened is the people in City Hall now are confused. They don't know who they're working for, what they're doing. It's chaos in that building. I want to boost employee morale. I want to figure out how we can get back to a system in City Hall that works. But I also want to take a look at consolidating efforts too. The City Hall and the Board of Education have a lot of duplicative services. Our finance departments, our custodial departments, our payroll departments. I want to look at how we can combine those two to be more efficient and to work together. But there's no need to have two separate functioning entities when we could do it under one roof. Let's see. There's a lot. I'd probably call for a meeting with all the city council members as well individually, just to be able to get to learn their individual priorities too and what they would like to see as a vision for the city. What,
Erin, finally, what is your philosophy, or what would be your tact in dealing with something that a lot of mayors and first select persons find often difficult in dealing with municipal unions and city unions?
I don't think that they have a goal to achieve, and as do I. And I think that going into it with an open mind and realizing that, okay, we need to work together would be the best solution to that problem. Instead of going in like a bulldog, perhaps going with a little bit of a kinder mind to work together, understanding that there are 70,000 people in this city, and there are many things that we can and cannot afford.
You're 26. Are people your age? I mean, Erin, I think you have to admit that you're kind of the exception and not the rule. I mean, I'm long removed from 26, but I don't know a heck of a lot of 26-year-olds that are really enthused about politics. You are. You and, you know, at your age, and even folks like, you know, Ryan Bingham, who was, you know, up until recently the mayor of Torrington. You don't see people really get into this until they're in their mid to late 40s. Or 50s or 60s. Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't think that anybody really pays attention to politics in general because of the negative attitude that's had towards it. There aren't politicians that people truly believe in. When people feel their voices aren't heard, they just kind of write it off and go, oh, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't matter. But I like to think that I broke the mold here in terms of bringing attention to a city that needs help, but bringing attention to a generation that feels that their politicians don't listen to them, in terms of giving them an outlet, saying, wow, you know, she's 26 years old, she can do this, what can I do? And I'm proud to be able to inspire a new generation of young leaders. Win or lose, I am most proud to do that. I have friends coming up to me telling me, you know, how can I get involved? What can I do? You know, I really want to take a better interest in the future of New Britain. And because of watching you run for mayor, I want to be a part of that. That feels great. And if I can continue on with that, I think that New Britain is going to be the best city in Connecticut.
And you know what? Maybe if this fusion ticket thing works, you may have started something. Who knows, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's about bringing democracy back to the table. Currently, we don't have a conversation that's being had in our city council chambers. They kind of nod their heads and go, yes, 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 with whatever they're told. That's not a legislative branch of government. It's not democracy. Let's talk. You tell me why you think my ideas are bad, and I'll tell you why I think you shouldn't. I mean, it's kind of common sense that just doesn't exist there. And if I can bring even just a little bit of conversation back to the table, I think it's going to benefit everybody in the long run.
All right, Erin Stewart, Republican candidate for mayor of New Britain. Erin, thanks. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, there you go, folks. 9:45. Well, you know what? It's not a lost cause. Some young folks do like politics.